you may need to make a decision about whether you're going to buy the property before the open. So, what do you mean? Well, everything is getting ready before the open. So none of this, we'll go and check it out. Then we'll give you a call and then we'll do DD afterwards and we'll talk about it. And we might consider putting it off. No, we're actually bringing everything forward. So folks, let that land. If you want to be in the game, you're up against buyers who are making decisions within an hour or two of the open finishing. Are you in a position where you can do that? You're in the headspace to actually do that. When you're in opens and you're not prepared to do that, maybe the discussion that you're having with the agent is, what else have you got coming up? What are you about to list? Because if you're not in that headspace and you're not ready, you're not going to get it. On very, very competitive properties, you're not going to get it.
So for those of you who are doing it yourself, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do the DD. You're going to have to learn how to do DD using all of the tools that are available out there, from land government sites, which you can check easements and all of the type of construction, land sizes. You can obviously go to the sales portals, the sold area and also the buying area. You're just going to have to do a lot of after-hour work. So when you are getting to the property itself, you are just checking blind spots yourself. So Bryce, the number one thing that everyone out there who's listening and who's in our community will want to know is, how do I set a price? What's the best way for me to actually work out what my offer is going to be and my stretch? What's that? The last offer I'm going to put there before I walk away. How do I do that?
Yeah, there's a bit to this, right? Because if you think about that 800 to 860, how do you price that at 1.206, Ben? And what about the person who was at 1.205 who missed it? Like, were they pricing it at 1.205 when they did it? So we talk about having three prices. Where you'd hope it would go is the first price in a normal market. The next price is where you think it's under a bit of competition. And then the third price is a stretch price, where in certain conditions, that's where you've got to go. And it's kind of a little bit uncomfortable, but okay, right? Because you everything else stacks up. Well, we're well and truly on that third tier and somewhere beyond, right? So you say, how do you price it? Well, normally I'd say go and see what the comparable sales are. Go back as far as 6 months and get, well, 6 months is way too long. Think about during the pandemic last year, we didn't use any results during March or April because they were fully fear-fueled prices. We picked up some amazing price properties at that point. But again, if you think about it now, December is too far back and even parts of January is too far back. So I'm not going to pretend that it's easy at the minute. The science and the art colliding here is, to be honest, it's an experience thing.
Well, the other challenge there is when people go and have a look at sold properties in the locality, some of that is delayed information, right? So the only way in a fast-moving market that you can get some idea is to actually ring around to the selling agents and form some type of relationship with them, where they will say, actually, last weekend, this property went for this. Now, there are some sites that will publish the auction results from the previous weekend. That is a must go to. You absolutely, if you want to get an idea, you want to be reeling through the sales for February so far, and start to study those properties. Start to look at land to asset ratio. Start to look at, what you got for your money. Was it all property, or was it a portion of land, or was it a nice combination of the two? Did it have owner occupier appeal, or was it a renovator's delight? And it is going to take you probably 2 or 3 months to be accurate within, say, 5 or 10% of what the property is going to go for in a moving market. And be prepared that you're going to go to these properties sometimes and just see it just run and go, that just didn't make sense to me.
Key word you just said then was the relationships with the agent. Your question was, how do we price it? Well, I'm saying it's difficult, but what you would do is go to the sold tab and have a look to see what's recently sold, and as recent as you possibly can. Build relationships with agents. That's not an overnight thing. So have a think about, if you want to buy in a hot market, whether you think I'm buying in May or June. Now is the time to develop relationships and get in there. And also be realistic about how you set your upper limit, because the comps may or may not help. Quote ranges may or may not help, but you need to give yourself a chance to be in it, but also back it up with some data as well. So, and of course, formal versus informal, you got to make formal offers. It's got to be in writing, deposits attached. Like, informal verbals aren't enough. You got to get it done. You got to get it done. Show them that you're serious.